My name is Dan Grigoletti, and I'm going to show you how to download and install the current version of Java. So first of all, you go to java.sun.com, and this is your source for much information on Java from the Oracle, which is the owner of Java. The reason I went to java.sun.com was because Java used to be owned by Sun, and it's just an easier memory aid to just type in that. So they've kept that alias link. Now, when you go to the main page of this, you can see that you can view all downloads. You could look at the different downloadable versions that are available. If you want to look at the standard edition, which is what we'll be using in this course, just go to Java SE under Technologies, and you'll see all of the different information that you could learn about that. And then on the top here, Java SE, SDK, and Tools. So the site probably has links that you can get to the current Java version. You can also just go to Java SE for top downloads, and at any rate, you have information about the current edition. So this is May 1st, 2017. So right now we have the Java SE 8U131. So that is basically the versioning for this standard edition currently. So you have the option of downloading either Java by itself, the JDK, the Java Development Kit. Sometimes it's been called the Java SDK or Java Software Development Kit, or NetBeans with the JDK 8. So you have the option of both the the Java environment as well as an IDE that comes with Java or is created by Oracle, and it's a pretty good IDE. It's an alternative to Eclipse. If that's the one that you're currently using, you could also consider using NetBeans. For this class, we'll probably use Eclipse most of the time, but we could look at NetBeans from time to time. And there are also many other ways to develop Java besides just those two IDEs that I mentioned. So you basically download Java from here, and you can find the platform that you want to download it for. So you have Java SE Development Kit, and you have the Linux versions, x86, x64. You have the Windows versions, x86, x64. They also have versions for Solaris, which was an operating system and still is, but it was invented and put out by Sun Microsystems years ago, and it still exists. And then you have Mac OS X. So if you have a Mac computer, but basically the x64 is a 64-bit computer, whereas x86, when they refer to that, they're really referring to a less than 64-bit, which would be a 32-bit. But the 86 is kind of a throwback to the 8086 microprocessor, where it all started many years ago. And then there was the 286, the 386, the 486, and the Pentium, which essentially was the 586, Penta meaning 5. But that's why you see x86 oftentimes when you download something, where you have a choice of downloading it for an older CPU that's not a 64-bit CPU. So if you have a recent computer, it's likely that you'll just need to download the Windows x64. So when you click on that link, you can see it wants you to accept the license agreement. So you have to check that radio button, and then again, we'll download x64. So it's basically this file that you can see right here. So once that starts to download, you can see it's roughly 198 megabytes, and it's a fairly large file. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to check to see what version of Java I have. So this is 8U131, and the way that you can find out is if you go to your control panel. If you go to let's say control, so that's how I get into the control panel. Just click on control panel and then go to programs, and then programs and feature, uninstall a program. Well, we don't necessarily want to uninstall the program, but we could see when you look for what your currently installed programs are, we see Java 8 update 121, and the version here is Java update 131. So I could tell that by looking at my screen here that I have an older version of Java. So if I want to be current, what I would likely do is just remove this. So I could just uninstall Java, as you see I'm doing here, and once that's uninstalled, I can then reinstall it. So that would be your ideal way of dealing with an older version of Java. So I would also delete any other remnants of Java that I have on my system, just so that I'm fairly up to date when I put the new version of Java. So that is fairly good practice if you want to just start with a fresh version of Java. If you've been experiencing problems or something, and you're getting errors, system errors that refer to Java, maybe you can just get rid of all of the Java, and then now when I have that download, I could run it, and you can see that this is the setup screen, the wizard. It'll just kind of guide you through, and it's an installation process that takes a few minutes, but it's essential to have Java SDK on your system first. And you can see that it's asking me where I want to put it. It's up to you if you want to take the default. I'm just going to take the default. It's under Program Files, Java, and then JRE 1.8 131. And I'll explain a little bit that when you install the SDK, you get the SDK and the Runtime Edition. So that's what the JRE stands for, Java Runtime Edition. So when it installs, it basically allows you to either be a user of Java programs, as in, when you run the JRE, any kind of Java program that requires the Java platform installed on a system. So now when I look at programs and features, you could see perhaps I need to refresh this, but the Java, let me just see if I can refresh this. So now you can see that the Java 8 update 131 is installed on my system as of today, and the Java SE Development Kit 8 update 131. Another way that you can tell what is installed on your system is to go into the command prompt and remember the directory that they showed us. So if you go backslash program files, and then you go into Java, and then you type in dir. You can see that as of today, at 6:13 p.m., I have Java JDK 1.0, I'm sorry, 8.0131 and the JRE with the same version. You have two of these because, again, the runtime edition RE is for running Java. The JDK, the Java Development Kit, is for creating programs in Java and compiling Java. So if you go into the JDK folder, you'll see that there's lots of directories, and one in particular is the bin directory. So if we go into that bin directory and I type dir, you can see that it's got lots and lots of files, but the one that's in particular that you want to pay attention to is this, actually these two, java.exe and javac.exe. So javac.exe is your compiler and Java is your runtime. Even though all these other files exist on this machine, they are useful for one purpose or another, but for programming in Java, these two are in particularly important stature. So these are really the key programs for compiling and running a program. So if you want to compile a hello world program, you would say javac space capital H hello dot java, and then wait a second, and then it will produce what's called a .class file, which is the bytecode, and then you would get to run it by typing java space capital H hello. So I'll demonstrate all of that in a later video. Thank you very much.